Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into the microscopic world of our cells to talk about a super important, but maybe a little underrated organelle. Think of it as the cell's all-in-one digestive system, waste disposal unit, and recycling center. We are talking, of course, about the lysosome. So let's start with a really interesting puzzle. Our cells are unbelievably busy places. They're constantly breaking things down, building new things, and fighting off invaders. But how in the world do they get rid of all the trash, like old worn-out organelles or bacteria that sneak in, without, accidentally digesting themselves in the process? It's a huge safety issue.
And the cell's solution is just brilliant. It's a secure, self-contained bag that's filled to the brim with powerful digestive enzymes. That, right there, is the lysosome. It's the cell's dedicated stomach and cleanup crew, all rolled into one tidy package.
Okay, so here's our game plan for today. First, we'll get to know the cleanup crew itself. Then, we'll take a peek inside the recycling center to see how it's built. After that, we'll cover its daily chores and then explore what happens when things go wrong, which has some major clinical implications. We'll wrap it all up with a few other cool facts and a quick recap.
All right, let's get right into it. Section 1. The cell's cleanup crew. Time for a formal introduction to this amazing little organelle.
So what exactly is a lysosome? Well, at its most basic, it's a tiny sphere wrapped in a single membrane. But the real magic is what's inside. It's packed with these powerful digestive enzymes called hydrolytic enzymes, and its job description is massive. We're talking everything from general tidying up and recycling to defending the cell from pathogens and even helping with repairs.
Let's move on to Section 2. Now we're going to go inside the recycling center to really understand the structure and the unique features that make the lysosome so incredibly effective.
So, what's the secret sauce here? Well, first off, lysosomes start their life as little bubbles or vesicles that pinch off from the Golgi apparatus. Inside, they're loaded with a potent cocktail, over 50 different kinds of digestive enzymes that can break down just about any biological molecule you can think of. Now, to keep from digesting itself, its membrane is protected by special proteins. But this next part is absolutely crucial, the targeting system. These enzymes get a special molecular tag called mannose 6-phosphate, or M6P. Think of it like a shipping label or a zip code that says deliver only to the lysosome. It's an amazing system that keeps these dangerous enzymes contained.
But for those enzymes to even work, they need a very specific environment. The inside of a lysosome is super acidic, with a pH of around 5, which is about the same as a tomato. This acidic environment is maintained by tiny proton pumps in the membrane that are constantly pushing hydrogen ions inside. And this does two really smart things. One, it switches on the enzymes, and two, it's a fantastic safety feature. If a lysosome ever bursts, the enzymes spill out into the neutral environment of the cell and are instantly neutralized, preventing a total cellular meltdown.
Lysosomes also have this really dynamic life cycle. It all starts with what we call a primary lysosome, fresh off the Golgi assembly line, with its enzymes still dormant. Then, it goes on a mission to find and fuse with another vesicle that's carrying something to be destroyed, maybe a bacterium or some cellular debris. Once they fuse, it becomes a secondary lysosome. This is where the action happens. The pH drops, the enzymes activate, and digestion begins. Finally, after everything is broken down, any leftover indigestible junk remains, and we call this a residual body.
Okay, so we know what it is and how it's built. Now let's talk about what it actually does all day. On to Section 3, a lysosome's daily jobs.
And believe me, its to-do list is long. It handles general digestion inside the cell, breaking down big molecules. It's also in charge of taking out the cell's own trash, a process we're about to look at more closely. It deals with stuff from the outside, like germs, and it even has these highly specialized roles like helping the immune system present antigens or helping certain cells reshape our bones.
Now, its two main digestive jobs are autophagy and heterophagy. Autophagy literally means self-eating. This is the cell's quality control, getting rid of its own old damaged parts, like a worn-out mitochondrion. It's absolutely essential for staying healthy, especially under stress. On the other hand, you have heterophagy, which means other eating. This is when the lysosome digests things that came from outside the cell, like a bacterium that was engulfed. Both of these pathways are completely vital.
So this system is elegant, it's efficient, but what happens when it breaks? This brings us to the really important clinical side of things in Section 4 when recycling fails.
So, what if just one of those 50-plus enzymes is missing or doesn't work right because of a genetic problem? Well, the one specific thing that enzyme was supposed to break down starts to pile up and up and up. This is the cause of a whole family of diseases called lysosomal storage disorders, or LSDs. The lysosomes literally swell up with undigested gunk, which starts to interfere with the cell's function, causing all sorts of damage.
And here are some of the heavy hitters. You can see diseases like Tay-Sachs, where a substance called GM2 ganglioside builds up in neurons, or Gaucher disease, which involves a different substance. Each one is caused by a single specific enzyme defect. But look at that last one, eye cell disease. That one is really fascinating because the problem isn't the digestive enzymes themselves. The problem is the tagging system we talked about earlier. The cell makes the enzymes just fine, but it can't put on the M6P shipping label. So these powerful enzymes end up getting shipped outside the cell by mistake, leaving the lysosomes empty and useless. It's a perfect example of how critical that targeting system is.
So when all this junk builds up in the cells, the clinical consequences can be really severe. You often see things like an enlarged liver and spleen because those organs do a ton of cleanup work. Neurodegeneration is tragically common, especially when the buildup happens in the brain. We also see things like bone deformities and significant muscle weakness, all because the cell's basic recycling machinery has failed.
Okay, let's wrap this all up in our final section with a few more clinical notes and the big takeaways from our discussion.
Now you'd think lysosomes would be the ultimate bacteria killers, right? Well, some really clever pathogens have actually evolved ways to outsmart them. Bugs like the ones that cause tuberculosis and salmonella can get inside our cells and then release proteins that actually prevent the lysosome from fusing with them. It's like they're putting up a do not disturb sign, allowing them to create a safe little house for themselves right inside our own cells. So, if you're going to remember one thing from all this, let it be this little formula. Lysosome equals low pH for that crucial acidic environment. Lysis for its power to break things down. And recycling, which is its fundamental purpose for keeping the cell healthy.
All right, time for a quick quiz to make sure these key facts stick. First up, what's that all-important molecular tag that acts like a shipping label to get enzymes to the lysosome? I'll give you a second. It's the mannose 6-phosphate, or M6P tag.
Okay, question 2. Let's bring in the clinical side. When the enzyme hexosaminidase A is deficient, what lysosomal storage disorder does that cause? And the answer is Tay-Sachs disease.
And for our final question, what's the specific piece of machinery in the lysosomal membrane that keeps that internal pH so low and acidic? What's actively working to maintain that environment? It's the H plus ATPase proton pump. And that really shows you just how this tiny organelle's complex, tightly controlled system is absolutely vital for keeping our cells and, by extension, us running properly.